Hi everyone, it's the middle of January and I constantly get asked, what can I do in January? What can I sow? What can I do? Blah, blah, blah. Well, the reality is I don't sow anything in January. January for me is all about planning. It's about getting my seeds, it's about getting my compost, it's about getting fertilisers, it's about where am I going to put everything. And I recommend that you do the same, because one of the things is you can kind of start planting stuff and it's all over the place. There's no real order and consequently things don't grow very well. And a system that I have used right from the start is the 4-bed system, whereby you rotate crops. You rotate crops for lots of reasons. Some reasons because they put nutrients back in the soil, so the things that follow it naturally benefit from what was left behind, and also because of pests as well. If you plant things in the same places, not all things, but some things will be more susceptible to disease or pests if you keep them in the same place. Now I realise that this isn't possible for everybody, so you just do the best you can. Whether you're like me and you've got like a whole allotment, I literally divide it up into 4 squares, you know, going round, or whether or not you want to do it in strips, divide it up into 4 strips, you can do that, or whether you've got raised beds, divide them up so that you can do this rotation really simply. I recommend that you write it down because you will forget and it's hard to then remember what you've done. So if I just let you know roughly what the rotation is, you've got 4 areas. You've got onions and roots, and that includes your leeks. So then you've got potatoes, that's another box. Then you've got legumes, and then you've got brassicas. Now you're probably wondering, so where do I put my squashes and where do I put my sweet corn? Well, things like courgettes and squashes and sweet corn, you can put them in with your legumes and in with your brassicas, because what you'll find is nothing fits neatly into one box. So while you have that as a guide, it is only a guide, because obviously sometimes you'll plant more of one thing and not of another, so you just roughly use that as a rotation. So if I can just show you where I'm going to do mine. So to start off with, here it's going to be legumes, so all my beans, runner beans, French beans, that sort of thing. I'll also put my squashes and my courgettes in that bit as well. As we move down, this next bit will be, this is where you need your list, potatoes. So my potatoes are going to go down the bottom here. And because I don't plant lots and lots of potatoes, I end up putting a few other things in there, like carrots and beetroots and parsnip. The thing to remember is when you plant carrots and parsnips and things like that, you must not manure just before you do it, because they will fork. It's not good for them. So the area that, this is why you must plan, the area you plan to put carrots and parsnips, any kind of root vegetables, that's the area that you really must not manure the year you're going to do it. So you have to bear that in mind. And you come over to this area. So I'm going to be doing my onions and my leeks in this area. And I might put some other root vegetables in here as well. Again, that's another overspill for me because I often have room. And then when we move up to this area here, this is where my brassicas are going to be. And if I decide to plant any sweet corn, this is where they'll be as well. So that's just a rough guide of how I do mine. And do you know what? It doesn't always work out the way I planned. I seem to have brassicas over there this year, and I don't know how they made their way over there. But at the time, my best planning, I didn't have space for them anywhere else, so that's where they ended up. And that's why it's good to write it down and to know what your rotation is, because then you'll then know for the next year to try and follow it. You know, it's not something you have to follow annually, but it's something that you do, you know, it is really helpful if you do follow it. So if you want any other helpful hints and tips, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.